let's finish on one on Trey Lance. What do you see as the Trey Lance end game options for the 49ers? And I bring this up, Dave, because my sense of it, first of all, I'm in the camp that believes that both Purdy and Lance are going to be franchise quarterbacks, that Purdy's ready to be that player right now, and that Trey, because of the traits that he has at the Niners that made the Niners draft him and be interested, he still has. And I just think that they've just realized that he's a little bit more raw than maybe they anticipated. But I really think that he's a future franchise quarterback. That all being said, what are the end game options? I had Al Sacco the other day on. He does a Niner blog and YouTube channel, and he's like, he thinks it's going to come to a head at the cut down. To me, that's bad news for Trey Lance, because I think Trey Lance needs more time to kind of ascend. What are the options? I suggested that if the 49ers really do love Trey Lance long term, that maybe they redo his deal, make it more palatable on the cap going forward, and just keep him as a backup quarterback, either number 2 or number 3, and whatever they want, and just keep developing him over time, instead of forcing this time frame where if he's not ready by week 1, then we can't keep him because he's got the 5th highest cap figure and so on and so forth, and he has to be cut or traded or moved off the roster. I like the idea of Purdy's your 1, Trey's your long-term play, and maybe they redo his contract to reflect that. Is that even a possibility?
No.
You're way more dialed in on the cap than I am on this.
No.
What
Trey
are the
Lance
options?
has a fully guaranteed rookie contract, so the 49ers are stuck with it.
Unless they trade him, right?
Yeah, unless they trade him. But who's going to pay anything for Trey Lance right now? His value is as low as it's ever been, right? He hasn't played essentially in 2 years. It's been really sporadic. You talk about injury questions with Jimmy Garoppolo. Trey Lance has gotten hurt at a much higher rate than Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt. Maybe it's not his fault, but he still has to show something for the league to value him in such a way. But Trey Lance here, this is why this is a financially tough situation for the 49ers. As the number 3 overall pick in 2021, he received a signing bonus of $34.1 million. That's money that hit his bank account. That has to hit the cap at some point. It is divided by year. Over the 4 years, it hits the cap. It's prorated. And that means that the 49ers still owe half of that $34 million signing bonus against the cap, plus a base salary this year. It's not that high, of $940,000. But anyway, if they do cut Trey Lance, it's more expensive by $5.3 million than to keep him. So you have to find a trade partner. And what's the trade partner going to pay at this point? Will it be worth your time? I'm of the school of thought that no, it wouldn't be worth your time, because you just ran out of quarterbacks last year.
Right.
I mean, your season went down the drain because you didn't have enough QBs. So why would you be willing, just less than a calendar year later, why would you be willing to trade talent away for peanuts at that position, even if it is raw, right? So I'm with you. I think that they're going to sit here and they're going to develop Trey Lance. And more importantly, in the short term, they're going to say, we need numbers in the quarterback room. That's their strategy has screamed that all off season. They say, we want numbers. They banged the table for the 3rd quarterback rule to come into effect. They got their way. And now they have the QBs. Why not keep them to avoid catastrophe that you faced last season?
Okay, let's kick it one more step down the road before we let you go. Let's just say Brock's the 1, plays well. Trey keeps developing, but him and, let's say, Darnold are on the team, and they don't play. They go with Brock all year. He's healthy all year. It's a miracle. Then what? Can they tear up his contract for next year and give him a more palatable, cheaper contract? Because Trey has maintained he's been asked this question, Dave, in front of our faces at least 3 times that I can remember. Trey, do you want to be here long? Before the question can even get out, he's like, oh, yep, I want to be here. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to be here. So he's maintained that. And if the Niners have maintained what they've maintained, if we should take them at the face value, they've maintained all the way through. We've never changed our view of Trey Lance. So obviously they still like him. They drafted him and invested a lot to draft him. That sounds like two sides that want to stay together, but other people see them parting ways. If they bite the bullet, pay the freight, he's on the roster all year, but Brock's the number one. What are their options then?
Well, he's a year closer to finishing out his rookie deal. They're going to have to decide on his 5th-year option,
which
next
is
offseason.
17 million or something like that.
For a QB, it'd be really high. At this rate, Trey Lance would have to start this year and have to have a good year for the 49ers, or a year of progress for them to consider that. But again, it's too early for that decision because we don't know what the hell is going to happen this year.
Sure.
So as of right now, he's got 1 year left under contract after this one, 2024. That season, you would face about $10 million in dead money. It wouldn't be more expensive. You wouldn't save anything, but it wouldn't be more expensive to cut him or whatever at that point. Maybe he would be more tradable if there was only 1 year left, and you would also be willing to take a lower return at that point. I just think it's neither here nor there. I don't think the 49ers are thinking of it in those terms, because when, just in any economic situation, you have to make the decision when the decision actually presents itself. The decision isn't presenting itself right now, I think, for the 49ers. I think that's in 2024, when so many other variables have to happen before then that are going to affect what that decision is going to look like. So with quarterbacks, we always have this obsession with what's going to happen in a year, what's going to happen in 2, but we need to be focused on what's going to happen now. And I think the priority right now is to bolster numbers in the quarterback room. The 49ers are going for numbers there, and that's what's going to naturally allow them to give Trey Lance a little bit more runway to develop.
Awesome stuff, man. We love rapping with you. We'll see you in camp. Anytime you want me to come on the channel, I'd love to come on. You got a final thought on your way out the door? I mean, we're getting ready to be like, all double days, all day camp, the sun hat, sunburn, more peeling.
I've been in the desert in Dubai, and it was 108 degrees with humidity. So camp is going to feel like there's an air conditioner on for me. I prepared for this. I'm ready for it.
Seriously, it's camp and more camp this summer. Dave, good to see you. Thanks for your time. We'll let you go. Have a great rest of your day, and congratulations, by the way, on the marriage, man. It seems like I've known you for years. You were a young college student. Now you're an old married guy.
Yeah, that was a couple girlfriends ago. That was back in 2013. That was 10 years ago, 2013.
Seriously.
Yeah, so the height of our Stanford pregame show on KMBR was 10 years ago. That's
Look
wild.
What's happened to Stanford since.
Yeah. Maybe we should have kept on doing the show.
Yeah, and I went to Sac State. You went to Stanford, and now Stanford is being coached by Sac State's coach.
Yeah, it all came full circle.
There you go.